With me now from the edge of the exclusion zone at Martin Place in Sydney's CBD is reporter Sean Rubinsztein-Dunlop. Sean, what's the latest?
Lee, it's been about 3.5 hours since the last of the hostages we saw made their way out of the Lindt Cafe in Martin Place. As we just saw, 5 hostages in total have made their way out of the cafe. It looks as though they escaped rather than being released by the gunmen. We're told by police that they've been talking to those hostages and trying to find out from them whether indeed that was the case. Now, other things that have changed in the last half hour or so include a number of buildings in the area, in the direct vicinity of the Lindt Cafe, being reopened, some people being allowed back in, including at the Channel 7 studios, which look directly across into the Lindt Cafe. One journalist tweeting from there says he can see right now a group of hostages, I'm just looking at those tweets now, huddled at one end of the Lindt Cafe. One is covering the window at the end with an apron. They say they can see about 15 hostages inside at the moment. That number not confirmed by police. They say they're getting conflicting information about the number of hostages inside there. Their faces described as pained and strained, eyes red and raw. One young man can be seen with his head in his hands. So by all accounts, still an incredibly tense and live situation.
Sean, what about, just paint a picture for us of the environment where you are. Like, how would you describe the police presence now? And also, are members of the public hanging around too?
Look, I've got to say, Lee, it's been a completely surreal scene here. It's a city in lockdown. Major streets all across the CBD shut down. Buildings in lockdown or evacuated throughout the day. People spent hours locked in their offices, not knowing what was going on. A real mix of people. Huge crowds have gathered at the various police blockades, and there's a kind of a stunned, anxious silence as people watch on, trying to get a glimpse of what's happening at the Lindt Cafe. But quite a bizarre scene in a way too. Others taking selfies. Some have bought beers and planted themselves in the gutter to watch on. You know, we're seeing office workers talking to students and all kinds of people gathering and trying to get a sense of what's happening. But we were here when the siege broke out, and initially it was thought to be an armed robbery. But when that black flag was first raised, I've got to say, you could feel the terror spreading through the city. It was palpable. We spoke to people who'd been nearby at the time. They were visibly shaking. They were very upset.
Sean, thank you for that. We'll come back to you later in the program just to check in again, and I'll explore that question about the flag a little more now.